Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of the indicator store of the series Do It Yourself. Today we are going to review how to create a virtual machine so we can run NinjaTrader without using our computer. And this is one of the most important advantages of a virtual machine, is that we can use our computer for whatever we want while the VPS is working 24/7, only executing trading orders. Also, another advantage is that usually any provider, there are several VPS providers. The most known are Microsoft with Azure, Amazon through AWS, and Google with Google Cloud, and there are a few more. Today we are going to start with the Microsoft. And the advantages of these three most important is that we have control, total control, okay, about all the services. That some other providers they already have customized solutions, so we cannot configure too much, but we will see it is a little more expensive. These providers usually have several locations to operate, and if we are trading futures, it will be better if we find a server closer to the exchange. And we can choose different machines on different places with different configurations, and we can try all of them because creating a server is not so difficult. We can create one, and if it is not working well, we can try another configuration or on another place. Let's see, Azure, we need to enter to this page. I am not sure if the pronunciation is correct. In Spanish, it is Azure. I guess it is Azure. So you go to azure.com, log with your account, with your Microsoft account, or create a new one. And it is evident that we need to click on virtual machine. There are a lot of services, but on Microsoft it is easier. The name is virtual machine. On Amazon, for example, it is Elastic Cloud, EC2. And today we are going to cover this. Maybe on another video we can check Amazon. So we click on virtual machines, and here we can see everything that is working. This machine, for example, is stopped, and this other one is running. The cost is per hour, so you can save by stopping those services that you are not using. Some services, like for example the space allocated, they are fixed, no? But let's try to create something similar to this. This, as you can see, it is hosted on West US. So let's say we want to enter into this machine. Here we can see the icon for the remote desktop to access that machine. And to enter that machine, we need the machine to be working, because if I click on the icon, it is not going to connect, of course. Let me check. It is searching and searching, but never connects. So we need to start the computer. And for that, I guess we need to click here and then click on start. After a few seconds, it will start. The page is not so dynamic, so maybe it shows stopped, but it is really working. Let's see if it is already working. So let me double click here, and yes, it is already working. So you type the password, then we are going to review later how you configure the user and password. And this is the same connection dialog. And finally, it opens the remote desktop. As we can see the menu showing the connection because this is not on my local computer. This is running on the VPS. And finally, you can see that the web page is informing that the machine is running. But it still says stop. I guess you need to refresh the web page. And yes, now you can see it is showing running. So it is not too interactive. So now to enter NinjaTrader, then we are going to explain how to install from a new machine. This version of the VPS is the minimum configuration that I suggest. It is using 2 virtual CPUs. You can check that processor, how many CPUs has inside, but we are only using 2 virtual processors. Then the memory, here we have 4 gigabytes. And by the way, here we are using Windows Server, and believe me or not, it is enough to run NinjaTrader. This is the minimum configuration. You can add more memory, but on Windows Server, you have more free memory than on Windows 11 or Windows 10. When the memory is too close to the limit, then NinjaTrader hangs or it is not even running. But again, with 4 GB, you can run maybe 3-4 charts and also order flow. So, by the way, if it is not enough, you can leave this here. And if you see that the CPU is too full or the memory is also too full, then you can increase the parameters. Then we are going to check how we can increase one of the settings. But currently, as we can see now, we have half of the memory available, and also the CPU is below 20%. So we can say it is the minimum to work. And also, when we switch off the connection, the CPU load is even lower. So let's see how we can create this virtual machine. So we were on Home, Virtual Machines, then create a new virtual machine. Here you can select your subscription. If you don't have a subscription, you create a new one. The resource group, if you want to share groups between your different virtual machines or not, you can create a new group each time. Usually I isolate each virtual machine. Then the name of your computer, the region. This is the important part because most of the US sites are okay for trading, but if you can find which one is faster to your data field, the better. For what I tested, the East is the closest site to Chicago, and you can get below 10 milliseconds as ping, but it is not always available. But if you can also choose West. So let's start testing if we have availability in East. Okay, we choose a self-select zone inside the East region, and here we select which image or which system we want to install. On Microsoft, we have a lot of different systems. If you click on View and see all images, you can see a lot. The classics are Unix with Ubuntu, Windows, and also Windows Server. I do not suggest installing Windows 10 or Windows 11. As I was commenting at the beginning, here we are not paying the license. So you can choose Windows Server, where the management of the memory is a lot better, and also the management of the CPU load is better. As I was commenting, you can run NinjaTrader with only 4 GB of memory. So I am going to select Windows Server, and then the size. This is the type of computer. It is a set of parameters that includes memory. This is the cheapest one. It is $10 per month, and also we can see it is not available, okay, in this region. But again, 1 GB is not enough for NinjaTrader. So we need to choose something different. For example, I don't know if I choose Unix, but it is not related to the system. It is related to the equipment. Okay, we can see there is no equipment on East. So we can choose US West. But again, you can try. Maybe you have a resource and you can use it. So let's try now US West, one of these. And then here you can see that it says free because one of the possible configurations is free. But of course that version is the minimum with 1 GB, okay? So we are not going to use that one. This version is really too slow. Maybe I create a video showing how bad it is for NinjaTrader, no? So for this case, to install NinjaTrader, I suggest starting by any version with more than 4 GB of memory. So let's see. We need to click here to select a different size. And we can see the usual or my last used version, but you can see all of them. And also you can sort by cost, by monthly cost, assuming that we are using it 24/7, no? For example, the first one with 4 GB is this one. The cost is only $36 per month. And also the type of equipment. These letters at the beginning is the type of equipment. By equipment, I mean processor, network, etc. So let's start with the cheapest solution, and then we can check. So let's use this one, this version. We click here, click on select, and now we can see we have 2 virtual CPUs and 4 GB of memory. It is not shown, but it is also including a default hard disk of, I think it is 120 or 130 GB. But again, you can also change that, okay? Then we need to choose a username, a password. This is what we type at the beginning on the remote desktop login. The port that we want open, we need this port because this is to access with the remote desktop, okay? And if you want to add something extra, everything that you add is paid. You can add a better network, more disk, but you can click on review and create, and we get the minimum configuration for everything else. So now it is showing the cost. The cost is per hour. If you have this working 24/7, you need to do the math. It makes some sense because Sundays you are not going to use the trading, so you can turn off the Fridays at the end of the session and start it on Monday mornings or maybe at Sunday night. A month has 24 hours multiplied by it is more or less 750 hours. If you multiply that by the cost, you can see how much is the monthly cost. So we create. It takes a few seconds to create, and when it finishes, we can see a dialog here on the same place at the top right. Once the computer is created and started, you can install anything on Windows, configure it as you want, and now you can turn on or off the computer as you want. I am going to wait for the dialog. Now we can see the resources that it is creating because it uses several resources. I was not explaining in detail each one, but we have disk, network, IP. All of them are the default because I have not entered on each one of the sections. We can also have the same network for different BPS. So it is like a network where all the BPS are joining the same network. But currently I am creating one network for each different computer. Now we can click on go to resource or go to home, virtual machines, and click on the resource. Now we can see this resource, all the configurations. Here we can see that it has 4 GB of RAM, 2 virtual CPUs, and it will be good to connect this. We can see that it is running, so we don't need to click on run, but we can click on stop to stop everything. And it may be starting for the first time as when we finish to install Windows. But we can see what it is doing by connecting. We need to create one icon like this. So we click on connect and then download the RDP file to access via the remote desktop. For example, new test. Okay, this is the icon. And now if I double click on that icon, the first time that we execute, we get some warnings. We can click to avoid showing those warnings. It is asking for the user and password that we created at the beginning when we created the machine. Another warning, we can click on don't ask me again. The connection dialog. And finally, the remote desktop window. We can see it is finishing to configure the user profiles. This is what we see when we install Windows for the first time. It is almost finishing. It is going to load a few things that we don't need because this is Windows Server, but we can turn that off. So here it is almost finishing. I guess it is loading the Windows Server. Yes, Server Manager. Here it is asking if we are going to share the network, but this is a new resource. We are not sharing this network with another virtual machine. Now we can get rid of the Server Manager. Don't show this again. there's a way to avoid this showing each time we start manage here on server manager properties. Do not start server manager at logon. Okay. And now we have the computer, all the computer for ourselves. Let's check the settings. We can see the CPU. We don't have all the cores of the CPU, okay? We have only two virtual cores. The memory, it is still doing startup things because this is the first start of this machine. But usually we get a CPU percentage of almost 0 when it is doing nothing. Now we can install NinjaTrader. So let's go to the page. We need a user, and I suggest a different user from your local computer, because if you use the same, you cannot connect to Ninja from two places at the same time. So let's go to the NinjaTrader page. Get rid of all this message. NinjaTrader.com. If you don't have a user, you can create a different user for the VPS and download NinjaTrader. So if you want to create a new user, you need to click on login, and then you have two options: or use your current user here, or click here and create a new user. Okay, save the passwords so I don't have to type it again. I don't want to start anything yet because it is not installed. Okay, so download, click on download, download again, and you can see at the top it is already downloaded. We can go to the download folder or click from here to install. This is the download folder. I forgot to mention when you enter to the network tab, you can select different configuration. This is the basic. If you want to check the speed, I guess it is the minimum. And really, I think it is you don't need a better config than this. It is more than 500 megabytes. Okay, I guess it is one gigabyte. But you can get. I saw a configuration with 5 gigabytes. But for NinjaTrader, there's no difference. You can change all the configurations once the computer is created. You don't lose anything. Okay, you can turn off the computer. Then we can check how we can change settings of an already created computer. Okay, let's install NinjaTrader. In the meantime, I am going to leave this so we can see the load of the CPU and the memory. I like the dark template. Okay. because this is a fresh installed Windows, it adds some edge things. But if you have an already working VPS, this only happens one time. In the meantime, we can check the rest of the settings. This computer has almost 130 gigabytes. From those, 110 free. And the system is on a different disk. So you have enough space to install NinjaTrader and a lot of stuff. Finish. And now we can start NinjaTrader. We are almost without a load and half of the memory available. Try to do that on a Windows 11 with 4 gigabytes only. Okay, I am going to start NinjaTrader. Loading for the first time. User and password. The one that you just created or the one that you have now. Because this is the first time for NinjaTrader, it is loading the demo workspace. Simulation, because this is a demo account. And there you have it connected and working. This is the demo workspace. I usually don't use this or this. I also don't use daily. So something between 1 minute and 5 minutes is okay for me. We can duplicate this for Nasdaq. And Q. And now you can arrange your windows in the way you want, but you need to remember to save the workspace, because currently it is selected the default workspace and you cannot save over the same workspace because this is the demo. So you need to click workspace, save as. Here, workspace, the current one is the futures, this one. So you can click on save as, choose another name. And starting from now, each time that you load NinjaTrader, it is going to start with this workspace. Now you can load your Ninja script. So how do you load code? Let's say I want to install an indicator. So now I can search an indicator on my computer. For example, something on documents. NinjaTrader 8. This is my local computer. And this is the VPS. And I want to install a Ninja script that is on bin custom export. For example, one of these. And you can see how easy it is to move. You can just select, right click, copy. And then here on the desktop, right click and paste. And there you have it. Now the install procedure is the same as usual. Tools, import, Ninja script. Let's magnify this, maximize, and it is on the desktop, on the VPS desktop. This one. Okay. Yes, yes, and yes. and it is finished. Now to load that indicator, I think the name is Super something, Super Scalper 2. And there you have it. If I want to drag and drop this to the other chart, no problem. Now, when I want to leave this working, because this is the normal case, I want this working 24/7. For example, trading something, automating a trade setup. On a later video, I can show you how you can program a system. I can close the remote desktop, and also I can monitor the status of that virtual machine from the menu. And here we can click on any of the virtual machines and see the status. There are several things that you can check. You can also monitor, create alarms when something is happening, like the use of the CPU or the memory is too full. But when you want to access again, click on the icon, type the password, and the login. The warnings are no longer presented, and there you have it. Okay, working as it was working before, but it was working while I had this disconnected. Now, how can we modify the parameters of the virtual machine, the memory, the CPU, the disk, the Ethernet? We need to turn off the computer. First of all, turn off close NinjaTrader, saving the workspace. And now we can turn off the computer from here or from the other side, from the control panel here. So we select the VPS and click on stop, and we can see what happens on the remote desktop. Okay. It is correctly turning off the computer. The same as we click on the menu to shut down. But if you have NinjaTrader working, then it may have a problem. Now, if I want to change the size, for example, of course, we click on size and we get the same list as we saw before. So we can sort again by cost, and then we can now select the 8 GB. Click on resize. It takes a few seconds. We can also choose a different processor. And there you have it. So the machine is ready. We can start it again because the machine must be, it says running, but I guess it is, we need to refresh the window. So if we click this, it should not work. Yes, the computer is, the virtual machine is not started. Let's refresh the window, and yes, we can see that it is stopped. So now we can turn on. So click here and now click on start. So now the virtual machine is starting. Let's see how it is, what it is doing. It is connecting. And here is the virtual machine. It is starting. It is as if the computer was booting. No? So it is a little slower than usual because this is the first startup. We can see that everything is as before, what we installed previously. Let's take a look at the configuration. And now we can see that the memory is now 8 gigabytes. The CPU is the same. Let me check now if NinjaTrader is in the same way as we lived before. It should open that workspace that we saved as test. And yes, this is our workspace. It is connected and working. So it is ready now. And now we can leave the VPS working forever. And as I was commenting, we can leave this working. And we can, for example, do several things like creating a copy. Once you have a working machine, you can create a copy to connect to a different account, trade a different setup, or share with another user, for example. If you are interested to review more about this, let me know. My plans are to comment about other providers like Amazon. But this is the minimum that you need to create a virtual private server. And it is easy to know the current cost because it has daily reports about the cost. I forgot to mention how can you check the speed or the delay to your data provider, to CQG or whatever is your broker. On this page, we can check which are the IPs of CQG. And now we can do a ping against that IP, so we can see the latency or the delay between your VPS and the server. And we can see we are in the order of 50 milliseconds. Okay, just to compare, let me open a PowerShell on my computer. This is in South America, okay? And here we have 170 milliseconds, as you can see. And just to compare another provider, we can check Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Servers, doing the ping against the same IP. We have 9 milliseconds. Okay, and you can get even better numbers. Hope this video has been useful. Any question or comment you can post on the chat that we have on Discord. The access is free and the instructions are on the description of this video. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.